Well, it looks like James Bond is moving forward, this time featuring Zendaya, or Zendaya, however you say that bitch's name. So what we have to talk about today, obviously, Barbara Broccoli, she hasn't been let go, but she has been paid hush money and paid to basically go her own way. So they are moving forward with Amazon's version of the James Bond franchise. Let's go straight into it right now. Amy Pascal or Pascal. There is not an accento mark over that, so I'm just going to say Amy Pascal. David Heyman closed deals to produce the next James Bond movie for Amazon and MGM. Are we sure that's an Amy? She looks more like a Shamey. Wait, is that even a? Anyway, I'm not going to make those kind of jokes. It's official. The James Bond franchise has found its producers in Amy Pascal and David Heyman. The duo have been tapped by Amazon to steer the new Bond film, the first to be produced by someone outside the Broccoli family. Now, let's be honest, the whole Daniel Craig run of James Bond was not necessarily stellar. It started off with an absolute banger. Casino Royale was actually really good. I liked Skyfall, and then I stopped caring because it just wasn't good anymore. But Pascal will produce the film via her side of this thing, and then David Heyman will be producing versus his. So they now have multiple production companies. It wasn't made immediately clear if they would be producing anything other than basically the jump off point. Now that Amazon has the rights, now that they bought out the Broccolis and the other ones that they were, holding the rights to. By the way, let's just say something right now. How much did that cost to get her out of there? $1 billion. That's how much they want this. This is the kind of like throw around money that these kind of people have just for something that hasn't really been it hasn't been producing that much in the last decade. Not only have they not been producing films, but they haven't been producing very successful films. They're going to pay $1 billion just to get that person who holds some rights to it out of the way. This doesn't really look good for them. And this announcement did come in today that they highlighted both Pascal and Heyman's track record in franchise filmmaking, because Pascal's behind the Spider-Man franchise. Which one? The Tom Holland one. Which I have a hot take right here. No Way Home was still like a 7 out of 10. That's the best of the ones that I've seen. It was still like a 7 out of 10. I'm just not a fan of them. Tobey Maguire is my Spider-Man. And I don't know. I'll probably get a lot of hate for that, but those are the ones that I actually like. Now, as a whole, like all encompassing, those films have grossed over $3 billion at the global box office. And then Heyman has also shepherded the Harry Potter franchise, which, if we're just tying some knots together right now. That's exactly what we're doing. We're tying some knots together. The Harry Potter franchise that got further and further away from the canon and lore of the books as the movies went along. I don't know. I really don't know if we're going to go back to the books, the James Bond books, with these people in charge. Call me crazy, but it doesn't really seem that way. They'll try to find some way to make it marketable, and that's probably where most of the money is going to be spent. It's going to be in marketing. Oh my gosh, I didn't even finish the sentence. Including the spinoff series Fantastic Beasts to commercial highs. You think Fantastic Beasts commercial highs? You know why they haven't made one past 2? It's because it failed, because everyone hated it. Good job. You want to tout that? Oh my gosh, Hollywood Reporter. You sweet summer children. We are approaching every creative decision with James Bond, which Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson have so masterfully steered. That's debatable. But, they did a decent enough job with the greatest sense of responsibility. I highly doubt that nobody in Hollywood is responsible for themselves. They always blame it on the fans. They blame it on us. They blame tsunamis. I don't know. Pick your poison. Courtney. Well, I can either tell the color or I can tell the gender. Part of an elite group of producers who have developed and managed massive film franchises to box office success and critical acclaim, Amy Pascal and David Heyman are two of the most accomplished, experienced, and respected film producers in our industry. What about Bruckheimer? I love that you left these kind of names out. Probably because he's not interested, because he knows it's a losing bet. And he actually has come up in conversations about coming back to do some stuff. But yeah, good on you for that. Let's just go a little bit more into this before I have my last little tirade. James Bond is one of the most iconic characters in the history of cinema. What makes him iconic? I'm just going to have to ask this question again and again and again. What makes him iconic? He's a man's man. What is a man in today's world? Not a man anymore. Men don't apologize. Men smoke cigarettes. Men drink hard liquor. Men get with women, biological women. Men are suave. Men are genteel. They have manners. There's all kinds of stuff. And yes, James Bond was always meant to be like the quintessential man's man. He's supposed to be educated. Also, like, obviously a great spy. That's basically his job. But yeah, he's just supposed to be what everyone aspires to. And obviously a caricature of a real human being. He's just up there like, okay, like, if I had no flaws, I would become James Bond because it's sleek, cool, stylish, and thrilling. We're humbled to follow in the footsteps of Barbara Broccoli and Michael Wilson. And why? How many times are you going to say this? Because I have not read this statement before. That other statement was in the paragraph before this. We are humbled to follow in the footsteps of Barbara Broccoli and Mike Wilson, who made so many extraordinary films, and honored and excited to keep the spirit of Bond very much alive as he embarks on his next adventure. At least they said he embarks on the next adventure. That's the one thing that we can take from all of this. That's the one thing that we can all agree on. They agreed on the he pronouns. And if that's the one thing right there, holy shit, we're in for something absolutely terrible. And you know they're going to charge butt tons of money. Actually, they might not. They're going to spend $1 billion just to throw someone else out so they can spend probably another $1 billion in the production budget to do this. Well, maybe 850 million, because now you have two production companies producing at least the first film or TV series. Actually, that hasn't been delineated between as of yet. But they do know that, well, we do know that they have announced that they want to do TV shows, they want to do spinoffs, they want to do more films, and it's all going to be on Amazon Prime. It's coming over. It started out as a fucking bookstore, and look where it is now. Just complete fuck you money. If you got anything to say about this, obviously, as more content arises, we will keep up to date with it, because James Bond is actually like super cool. Who'd have thunk? Super cool is like the gayest way of saying it. I mean, my age, I grew up with the Pierce Brosnan version, and then later went back to watch the Timothy Dalton and the Roger Moore, and then the Sean Connery, but and Daniel Craig as it was coming out, like as I was heading adulthood. But yeah, that's what I grew up with. A genteel womanizer. This beautiful thing. Maybe the man I am today. I don't know if that's saying much, but every guy thinks it's cool. This is every guy thinks it's cool. This is Malty from Mouth of Malty. Anything you have to say, leave it down in the comment section below. Talk your shit. You won't get hit. But also be respectful. You know, no hard R's. Unless you're saying retard. Y'all have a great day and take care. Bye-bye.